Hakuna Matata, Panda here from Disney's Animal Kingdom. We are going to visit my very good friend Christopher Lowry. No relation to the Lowry marinades, the seasonings. I was very disappointed too, but I had already made friends with him. Anyhow, we're going to go on his safari. He's an expert safari guide, and we should have a lot of fun in Pandavision. But I guess.
Hello in Swahili, so Jumbo Terry.
All right, so as they say here in Harambe Twinde, let's go. We'll see you in a couple weeks, Terry. Well, Jumbo, everyone, my name is Chris. How's everyone doing this morning? Awesome. I'm going to be your safari driver for the next 2 weeks for this photo safari in the Harambe Wildlife Reserve. And I do have one extremely important request, and that is that everyone must stay fully seated at all times. Everyone, if you look over there on the right, you'll see my twin brother, Dominic. Yep, I'm the handsomer one. I know. So now, so again, please do stay fully seated at all times. Also, if you have a camera, be sure to have those cameras out and ready at all times. I am not able to stop for all the animals that are out in the reserve. So if your camera has an action, sports, or high shutter speed setting, it's a really, really good idea to use that. Who's first time on safari with us? Okay, who's been on safari with us before? Okay, who did not raise their hand? Who is slightly confused right now? Alright, so welcome to those of you that are on safari with us for the first time. And welcome back to those of you that are choosing Kilimanjaro safaris again. We appreciate that because we know there's tons of safaris for you to choose from here in Africa, so we thank you for choosing Kilimanjaro safaris. If you look above you, you will see a game spotting guide. You can use that game spotting guide to help you spot some of the animals that we might see today. Now, we may not see all the animals that are up there, but we usually do have some pretty good luck. Hey, Kelsey. Hey, we're going to camp at the same campsite tonight? Oh, well, I was going to offer to cook dinner, but... Okay, that's fine, no worries. I'll just, my dinner will be better than yours. Here we go, folks, you ready? All right, one person's ready, so we're gonna enter anyway. So we're entering the Harambe Wildlife Reserve in the Little Ituri Forest. Now, forest is the key word here. Lots of trees, lots of bamboo. You never know what you're gonna see or when you're gonna see it. On the right-hand side over there, you'll see a couple of okapi. Now, the okapi is a very interesting animal, white-faced striped legs. Now, many people think because of that white face and striped legs that the okapi either is a zebra or related to the zebra, but it's not. Does anyone know what it's actually a relative of? It's actually, yeah, that's right. It's the only known relative of the giraffe. Good job, sir. You must watch your Animal Planet. Now, also over here we have greater kudu. Very rare sighting to see them this up close. Very shy greater kudu. They're also the second tallest of the antelope, and one of the only species of antelopes where just the males have horns. So those are female greater kudu. Yellow-billed storks over here on the left, next to the watering hole, and even some over there. Now, the yellow-billed storks are carnivorous birds. They eat everything from fish, frogs, lizards, to other small birds. Now, watering holes like this over here on the left bring loads of animals like the black rhino. Now, when you see a black rhino, you can't really miss them. They're about 3,000 pounds. They have a very thick hide, and they can charge at about 35 miles per hour. Now, in comparison, just to give you all a heads up, my truck only goes about 8 miles per hour. But over here on the left, you will see a black rhino covered in mud. And they cover themselves in mud like that, basically to help keep their body temperatures regulated. So there's a black rhino over there.
Walks right in and walks right out.
So we're going to make our way out of the Little Ituri Forest now, and we're going to head into the Safi River. Now, the Safi River just happens to be home to one of my favorite animals, the Nile hippopotamus. Now, when hippos are born, they're about 85 pounds. Now, an adult male, he can tip the scales at nearly 5,000 pounds. So they are nocturnal. Their eyes are very sensitive to the sun, so they spend about 18 to 20 hours of the day in or underneath the water. There are a couple over there on the right. They are in the water, kind of hard to see. Now, Safari Guide Intuition does tell me we're going to see some more coming up on the left, so no worries there. Like I said, they spend about 18 to 20 hours a day in or underneath the water, and they can hold their breath underwater for up to 8 minutes at a time. Now, just on the other side of the island over here, you're going to see some hippos. They're hanging out in a group beyond the island, and a group of hippos is called a float. Now, the large white birds that are hanging out on the island are pink-backed pelicans. They work together to herd fish in the shallow waters, and then from there they eat the fish. They sleep in nests in trees as a community at night, and a group of pelicans is called a pod. But coming up on the other side of the island, there you go, that bloat of hippos. There's about 8 of them on the other side of the island. Right there. There's another one just up ahead too. Now the reason why I asked that everyone does stay fully seated at all times is because we go over some bumpy roads and some old bridges. And you never know what's on the other side of these roads and bridges. So it is for your own safety, and I do ask that everyone does stay fully seated. Because coming up over here on the left, you're going to see the very large, and yes, those are real, Nile crocodile. Now the Nile crocodile is one of the longest of the cold-blooded reptiles at about 18 to 20 feet in length. Now they will open up their mouths and let out their body heat. Like I said, they are cold-blooded. But their jaws have a bone-crushing power of about 2,000 pounds per square inch. So on that note, we're going to get out of here. As we head over the river and through the woods, deeper into the reserve, we're actually going through a change of ecosystems. Now we're going from a very heavily wooded, covered, humid area to a much more widespread grassy dry area. This tree right here is called a baobab tree. Now baobab trees, they remain leafless 9 months out of the year through the drought. And they can survive the drought by storing large amounts of water in their very large trunks. Now they live to be about 1,000 to 2,000 years old, and fully grown they can stand up to 75 feet tall. Now coming up on the left-hand side, you're going to see my favorite view of the whole Savannah, and here it is right here. Now this shows us the Serengeti grasslands. Now the grasslands, they stretch for hundreds and hundreds of miles, and it is the home and superhighway to many animals like the elephant, cheetah, lion, and giraffe, warthog, and wildebeest, just to name a few. And because it is home to so many of those animals, it's part of the wild Africa that they're trying to conserve today. Now folks, at any time, if anyone does have a question, please feel free to ask. Say, hey Chris, I have a question, or raise your hand, or whatever it may be. I am more than happy to answer questions at any time. Now the animals out here, they do their part helping to maintain the Serengeti grasslands. The elephants are kind of like the bulldozers. They knock over the large trees, which allows for soil to be upturned and land to be spread out. Oh, Patterson's eland over here on the left, kind of hanging out. Now the eland is the largest of the antelope. An adult male reaches about 6 feet tall at the shoulder and 2,000 pounds. Females are roughly 4 to 5 feet tall and around 1,250 pounds. Now, as you can see, the animals do like to hide in the tall grass and the bush. They use the termite mounds as scratching posts, and then once they're worn down, antelope and gazelle like to use them as lookout posts to watch out for predators like the cheetah. Largest part of the termite mound is found underneath the ground, so they are definitely more than meets the eye. Over here on the left, you're going to see the Ankole cattle, also known as the Watusi cattle, named after the Watusi tribe here in Africa. Horns on the tops of their heads can get up to 6 feet long and 20 inches in circumference at the base. And they're a hollow honeycomb structure that the cattle will use to keep their bodies cool by pumping the blood up into their horns, and then once it's cooled off, they pump it back down into their bodies. Kind of like their own natural air conditioning system. Now, I do believe this Ankole cattle might want to cross in the road, so it was making its way. So I'm going to give it some room, because a lot of times these are wild African animals. They do whatever they want to do. If they want to walk in the road, they'll walk in the road. A lot of times we have to be pretty quick on our toes, because sometimes they'll just walk out in front of the truck out of nowhere. So just remember, folks, these are wild African animals, so please do not reach out and try to touch the animal or its horns. So everyone keep your hands, arms, feet, legs inside the vehicle.
And the Maasai giraffe is one of the smallest subspecies of giraffe. Now, folks, we're about to get mostly up close and personal with this one right here, eating the moss. Now, Maasai giraffes, like I said, 4 feet tall at birth and about 14 to 18 feet tall fully grown. They have a darker, more messy, irregular pattern. Also, one of the smallest subspecies of giraffe. The other subspecies of giraffe that we'll hopefully see out here on the reserve is the reticulated giraffe. The reticulated giraffe is about 6 feet tall at birth, 18 inches long. And it's a slimy sandpaper texture. Trust me, it's not something you want to get licked by. It's very gross.
Now, the white-bearded wildebeest lead one of the largest land migrations in the world. Now, they also go by the name GNU, G-N-U, which is a low grunting sound that they make. And it kind of sounds like this. And when they're born, they have about 15 minutes to learn how to run, or their parents will leave them behind. Did you hear that, kids? 15 minutes. Over here on the left, you're going to see some mandrills. There's one up on top of the rock next to the branch. There's also some in the termite mound, near the termite mound over here, and in the bushes. Oh, look, they're grooming each other over here on the left. Or styling each other's hair, who knows? Today I'm going to give you a full hawk. There's a lone male elf. There's a full elephant again. Now, the coltan mines in Africa just happen to be right where the elephants' homes are. Now, as a result of the high demand of coltan, the elephants are getting pushed out of their homes and right into the hands of poachers. Now, because of that, the number of elephants that have been poached over the last several years have almost doubled. Very sad, very serious situation. One easy way to help protect the elephants, keep them safe, is just something as simple as recycling your cell phones, laptops, and other electronic devices once you're done with them. That'll help keep the elephants safe and in their homes. They're also working on something called reintroduction efforts, and in a few days I'll tell you a little bit more about that. As of right now, folks, we are about to cross over the oldest bridge here on the reserve. Now, it's very rickety and very unstable. Oh boy. Now, I'm going to need you all to stay fully seated, hold on tight. And you might want to crawl. Oh, you're too late for that. All right, everyone lean to your right. Lean to your right. To your right, to your right. All right, that way's your right. Next time you see it. The other way was your left. All right, we didn't lose anybody, right? We're all still here? Okay, good. No? Yep. See? Quick glimpse of the zebra. Now, we're heading into the red clay, which huge source of elephant activity. Both male and female African elephants have tusks. And they love digging into the red clay because it does give them loads of vitamins and minerals. Now, sit back, relax, enjoy the music. If you do have a question, please feel free to ask. But as of right now, check out the baby elephant coming up on the left.
You know, I really thought you were pointing at the sky. No, it's typical. Yeah, it's really dark.
Folks, over here on the left, we have the greater flamingo, lightest and pink coloring of the flamingo. White gray puffball at birth, but they get their pink coloring later on in life, meaning brine, shrimp, and other crustaceans very high in carotene.
Now, a group of flamingo together is called a flamboyance. So there you have a flamboyance of flamingos. Yeah, I don't make this stuff up, folks. Now, we are going to move deeper into the reserve, so I'm going to go ahead and turn the radio down. Those mud pits over there on the left, typically used by the white rhino. White rhino, unfortunately, very heavily hunted down by poachers right now for their horns. As a result of that, you barely see any of them out in the wild. In fact, they fear in a few years that the white rhino may become completely extinct. Now, through conservation efforts and reintroduction efforts, in some ways that they're just trying to help keep these animals safe and protected, but we have to do everything we can, because even the most famous reserves here in Africa, poachers still try to come in and get to the animals. Oh, folks, coming up on the left, we're about to see my favorite animal, the fastest of the land mammals, the cheetah, right here. Oh my gosh, this is so cool. Well, it disappeared. It's by the rock somewhere. Oh, yeah.
Way up there.
Oh, right here, folks.
Oh, look.
There she is.
Way.
Yeah. Now, cheetahs, they can run up to 3 of them. 1, 2, and then 3. Cheetahs, they can run on land about 60 miles per hour, and they do that in sprints of several hundred yards. Their bodies get overheated, and they have to keep themselves cool. They're actually one of the only cats that will hunt during the day, and they use their sense of sight. Lions will hunt at night and use their sense of smell. And it's really awesome. It's very rare for us to see them that close. So you're welcome. K-O-P-J-E. It's the highest point of the whole Savannah, and it is lion country. And again, you're welcome. So now lions are pretty much inactive for about 18 to 20 hours of the day, which means they're either sitting around or sleeping, doing absolutely nothing, kind of like your average house cat. Now it's a female lioness who will go out at night and hunt for about 4 to 6 hours, and she just disappeared, while the male lion stays home to protect the pride. Now he roars in the morning and he roars at night to show his dominance, that he is the king of the pride. But we know it's a female lioness that goes out and does the majority of the work, yada yada yada. While the male takes all the credit for it, yeah. He is real.
Keeping an eye on everything. Way up high.
Oh, white rhino coming up on the right, including a baby white rhino. Yeah, the white rhinos are about 5,000 pounds. The female is slightly larger than the male. They get their name from the Afrikaans word "white," which means wide or broad mouth. So about 3 white rhino over here, including that baby. Oh, 4. There comes another one. Also, scimitar horned oryx over here on the left. Now, the scimitar horned oryx get their name because the 42-inch long horns on the tops of their heads are shaped like the Middle Eastern scimitar sword. Yeah, there he is, the king of the pride. Now, the Swahili word for lion is Simba. Simba. Also on the top, second top rock, coming up on the left, there's the female. There's a female lioness, the second female lioness, way up top.
Way up top.
Ostriches, like the one that you see coming up on the right, very large birds with very large wings. However, they do not know how to use their wings. They can't fly, but they can run on land at about 40 miles per hour. Over here, folks, lying down in the burrow, you're gonna see a warthog. Now, warthogs are the fastest and largest of the burrowing mammals. They can reach a speed on land at about 30 to 35 miles per hour. And they'll sleep in their burrows using their tusks. We're entering a newer area in the reserve called Magadi Glen. Now, what Magadi Glen is going to be used for is basically the rehabilitation and then reintroduction of animals that are more endangered out in the wild, like these addax that we'll see coming up over here on the left. Now, the addax are a corkscrew antelope. Basically, that describes the 3-foot-long spiral-shaped horns on the tops of their heads. Now, fewer than 300 addax left out in the wild. Very sad, very serious situation. But they're trying to do everything they can to reintroduction efforts to help keep them safe and protected. Everyone wins. And now you know, and knowing is half the battle. Now, these waterfalls do mark the end of our 2-week safari, so I'm going to go ahead and drop you all. What you like to say is the Swahili phrase that means go well. That phrase is kwaherini. So kwaherini, everyone. Kwaherini! Remember, it is a jungle out there, so feel free to go a little extra wild. Again, my name is Chris. I do hope you all enjoyed your safari today, and you'll come back and see us again real soon. Thank you very much, sir. You're welcome. All right, kwaherini. Hey guys.